By seeing this badging, I'm gonna guess that somebody has been in there and done some fun stuff in a good way.
Savage! Hey, Savage people, we are here at Porsche Bethesda. Stand on man Doug. We've got the R34 in the background. Excited to give you a little update of what's going on with it. So, we had a little bit of an issue in the beginning with the windows. That's the funny thing. So one day I put the windows down and one day the windows never went back up. And I had a bunch of people, all, you know, JDM guys looking at it, couldn't figure out what was going on. Doug gets the car and 15 minutes later I get a video of the windows going up and down. And what happened exactly?
Basically, the connector was just not completely installed and it was just sitting there barely arcing.
Is it on this side? Can we show you?
No, it was on
It's
that
on the other side. Let's show them. Come on, let's show them. This is one of those moments where I laugh and go, oh, we couldn't plan this. Bunch of car guys, you know, we sound like we've never even picked up a wrench.
Yeah, basically took the door panel off and right underneath this panel right here, there's just a big connector and it was just, you know, half in.
It's not as bad as I thought. Okay, it's not like it was just laying there. Oh, all right, so we're a little cooler than we thought.
That was this one.
Oh, all right, well that's fine. I didn't care about that anyway. But that's funny.
Yep.
That's really
So
funny.
it was literally like a plug that was right there.
Yeah,
it just
it was
wasn't
right
clicked
here.
in all the way?
Yeah, so basically, you know, you could hit a bump and it would open up. And then you
Okay.
probably hit another bump and it would go back in.
And let me guess, I have a 94 Altima, which
Yeah.
has the same, like the trunk release
Yeah,
as this car. Let me guess, it's like an old plastic,
Yep.
like degraded.
Yep. Yeah, I
connector.
have S14s. And
Okay, yeah, it's like the same.
Yep.
It's all the same parts bin of Nissan.
This right here is like, you know, the same in my car. And
Yep, that's the one I have in my Altima.
yeah.
It's just mine has a chrome trim on it.
So some of the other things that we have an original Japanese carbon wheel coming for this. I ordered it. Thank you, Green Desire. Appreciate it, man, very much. He's hooking us up with that. And we got a couple other newer parts coming in, all ordered from Japan overnight. And we are going to rock this car. This thing's going to be insane. We got a little bit more work to do to it. Next, it's going to go over to get paint protection, all American, and it's also going to get a little bit of, it's going to get expel, and definitely, but we're also going to do a little actual painting to get some of the chips that are in the front. They never expel wrapped it. They never, you know, protected the front, which is strange, but we're going to fix it, make it right. So I have no idea how much horsepower this thing makes, but my guess is it's in the 400s. I think it's a nice, healthy engine. I've driven it, but what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think it's a solid 450, somewhere around there.
What were
And
they
that would
rated
be,
for?
So 276 was the gentleman's agreement, and basically they were not 276 or anything
Wait,
like that.
is it sort of like the same gentleman's agreement there were with motorcycles in like, was it the late 90s?
And McLarens.
Wait, there's a gentleman's agreement with McLaren?
Well, of course, McLaren says that they're supposed to, you know, if anything, you take 15% of what the horsepower is rated at the crank to get to the wheel. The problem is, everyone knows we've had our 720 dyno, it's 710 and it's 710. There's no loss. So something's wrong here.
Right. Yeah, this car does not feel what it's rated at, for sure. It's definitely has a lot more in it.
And it's a 20-year-old car, and it just, every day I see it, it stands and goes bang. You know, it just really.
I drove this today and was pleasantly surprised, even with full coilovers, slammed on the ground, and this thing, I could barely drive this car, and I say that wholeheartedly. I know that there's a lot of people out there that probably wouldn't agree, but I mean, as a gearhead,
It wouldn't be me, I'd do it. I do. The problem is that I would all my other cars get very jealous.
They talk to you.
They talk to me. They tell me what to drive every day.
This thing was super cool. I mean, seriously, I was like, how is
Not
this
quite
thing?
the Rolls, but it's badass. The Rolls is badass too.
You know, a millimeter off the ground, I was definitely surprised.
Yeah, recall this is definitely a scraper car too, without a doubt. I mean, it's got, and they even have an additional lip you can put on the front too. For I think it's, well, I'm gonna take a look. Yeah, so they have this has the Nismo type front lip, but I think there's one that even has an additional lip down below it. Like, how do you look at this?
Right, I know.
This is,
I can't even put
this is 3 fingers off the ground.
That is a low car.
Yeah,
It's very low.
So here, let's pop the hood and give you a little bit of little teaser here. So yeah, there's a couple capped off vacuum lines. I'm assuming that was for some sort of emission type.
So it has upgraded blow-off valves on it that are actually in the front bumper. You can actually see them. They're the HKS Super Sequentials. It's got twin.
Right.
And I'm sure when they installed that along with the boost controller that you got right here, you know, I'm sure that they just did that.
Boy, does that sound good though, when it just, that
It
blow-off
echoes.
valve.
It legitimately
It
echoes.
brings me back to like my, you know, my teens when I was, you know, Fast and Furious had just come out.
Look, I mean, look at the well. This is an original brace bar.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
this has got to be hand TIG.
Yeah,
there's no machine
absolutely.
that's gonna, you know, do that good.
I mean, it definitely has that, you know, single builder, single installer feel about it, very much.
This is when Nissan made good cars.
Yeah. This, because of this sticker, I'm gonna guess that it was, you know, like factory done by somebody.
What do you mean
Gener-
factory done? Like
So
a
like
shop or
Nismo would take some of the cars and they would basically take apart the motor and they would do like a Nismo oil pump, Nismo water pump.
Oh, I didn't know that at all.
Don't know. By seeing this badging, I'm gonna guess that somebody has been in there and done some fun stuff in a good way. But yeah, so factory
It's almost
twins.
like a factory tune.
Yeah, so basically kind of like either a GT3 or a GT3RS. You know, you get a little bit more
Sure.
valve train. These cars actually come with individual throttle bodies from the factory. The RB26s, the RB25s have a single throttle. RB26s, you have individual butterflies on all of them. That's why you have this bar that goes across, kind of like M3s, you know, where it has the individual throttle blade or the individual butterfly on each runner. And this is like very true to the time with the you know, the mushroom style filters.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
So, but yeah, so you got twin intakes for twin, you know, turbos, twin inlets for the, you know, the intercooler, and this thing has titanium Greddy catback, and then it definitely has some sort of downpipe. I mean, it's full exhaust, but it's titanium, super light. You can knock on it, and it makes a certain, you know, note.
A ting?
Yeah, it has like it doesn't ting like, you know, like a stainless. You know, it definitely has a certain note to it.
You can't even get a Greddy exhaust anymore for these cars, can
No, probably not. I mean, it would be secondhand.
you? Sure.
One of the best things out here is the original Japanese registration. To buy these, they're impossible. You can't even get them. And this car, this is its original registration. So this is very special. Obviously, God forbid somebody scratches off these stickers, I'll kill them. But they're staying right where they are. It's just such a unique, you know, piece of history of the car. So, and for it's an you know, original 60-kilometer car, about 40,000 miles. It's amazing.
Basically, in Japan, at the time of, you know, the era of this car, there was a gentleman's agreement for about 276. It was the Evos, you know, Skylines, everything of that, you know, Supras had about 276, even though they were all detuned. And it was just because all the manufacturers didn't want to have to compete and, you know, one-up each other. It was just a gentleman's agreement to, you know, basically have a similar power level, so nobody was sticking out like a sore thumb, I guess.
Anything for insurance purposes, or
You know,
I would imagine they could be.
The motorcycle world, I knew, wasn't it something also because the bikes were just getting too fast?
Yeah.
So they were just like, you know, we don't want it to get any
Right.
faster.
Well, I mean,
enough.
if they go and look up a 276
That
horsepower
actually
car,
is the other thing too. I want to say,
insurance.
yeah,
because
that
they
you
couldn't
actually
insure
pay
them.
is like, you know, like 300, 400, and they pay per.
Oh yeah, oh definitely. I can know this
so-
because I have very high horsepower cars,
So then there you go.
and yeah, I
Yeah, I
mean,
know different municipalities, you have to pay different, you know, I know like in Italy, you know, you have to pay a crazy tax on you know, supercars and stuff like that.
gentleman's agreement
Right.
is a handshake.
Exactly.
Okay, just like, you know, hey, gentleman's agreement, you shake on something and not have to spend money. So it's a gentleman's agreement that no one would go over a 276 horsepower, whatever the number may be, but everybody did.
Right.
And that's the funny. And that's why these cars are icons, and that's why they're on, you know, Gran Turismo and going crazy and all that stuff.
Go for it. Oh, you got everybody looking. That is the sound of
Having
early 2000s nostalgia right there. Oh yeah,
it's like Nintendo.
it's great. There you go.
Ta-da! Wait. Ta-da!
Look at that.
What was it in Ace Ventura when he's like out the windows going, oh! Radical car.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah, it really is.
This is how it's driving on the other side. What's it like driving this
I
thing?
love it, actually. To me, it makes total logical sense.
Including the fact that it's, you know, maybe an inch off the ground.
Doesn't matter.
The thing that gets me is it's so usable.
Yeah,
just
I mean,
feels extremely
I
usable.
mean, Doug made a good point. It's very everyday. I mean, it is a Nissan, after all, and you know, I mean, granted, it is 3 fingers off the ground, and it's on the wrong side of the wheel technically, and it's, you know, got a ridiculous turbocharged twin turbos, but otherwise, it's just perfect. Look at just how perfect everything is in this car. It's like it's untouched. It's like a time capsule. It truly is.
It's perfectly period correct, but not so much to the point where you don't want to drive it.
Right.
You know?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, other than some throttle management controls and other than that, I mean, everything's original and stock.
Oh, look at that. That's cool.
Power band.
It's crazy to think this was in the 90s, that this was designed and someone coded this and came up with
late
this.
90s.
Sure, think about that. I mean, people go goo goo gaga over that on newer cars, you know? Nissan was so ahead of the time with this car.